Welcome, ladies, to your family right there in the corner.
Okay. Good afternoon, Cohort 31. We're getting ready to start with the ceremony, and welcome to all of our family, friends, and the remainder of the cohort that's joining us via live stream. We want to welcome you to the white coat ceremony of Cohort 31. Yeah. You know, I didn't test my audio. Can you hear? Okay, all right. So my name is Dr. Monique Reed, and I have the distinct honor of serving as your Assistant Dean for the Master's Program. I started my nursing career like you in a Master's Entry Program in Chicago. When I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2001, we then had the horrible incident of September 11, 2001. I knew at that time that I wanted to change the trajectory of my career from economics and go into nursing school. 2004, I graduated, and nursing has been such a tremendous honor to be a privilege of this profession. I had a lot of accomplishments since then, but what we know and what happens is life becomes before nursing school and after nursing school. And so it's been one of the most extremely rewarding milestones of my career. And from now on, nursing school will be a milestone of sorts for you. And you'll refer to it as life before Rush and life after Rush. And hopefully life after Rush you'll still be at Rush as a nurse, but we'll get to that at graduation. All right. So this ceremony is our opportunity as your faculty and college community to officially welcome you to the profession of nursing, and for you to publicly acknowledge that you have chosen to become a nurse. Nursing is a profession with an expected set of skills, a defined bank of knowledge, a personal and professional code of ethics, and expected behaviors that sets us apart from all other professions. Before we leave today, you will publicly declare your readiness to enter nursing by stating an oath, and just want to make sure that everyone is seated has one of these. Okay. Yes, this will be a part of the ceremony a little later. This is the official dedication to the profession. So in 2013, just a little history, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation began supporting white coat ceremonies for nursing in partnership with the American Association of Colleges of Nursing. They extended grants to 100 different nursing schools across the United States in their first year. A year after that, in 2014, Rush began to offer the white coat ceremony. The white coat ceremony, again, is a formal welcome into the nursing profession. And although white coat ceremonies have been conducted by medical schools for more than 20 years, the collaboration was the first initiative and a coordinated effort that has been developed to offer similar events in schools of nursing. So in nursing, a white coat ceremony consists of the recitation of an oath and an address by an eminent role model. In addition, you are given a specially designed pin that serves as a visual reminder of your oath and commitment to providing high quality care. We will ask that when, after we hear from our speaker, we're going to ask you to line up over here to receive your pin, and then we'll escort you back up to your seat through this way. So today you will have the opportunity to hear from Dr. Todd Rupar. Dr. Rupar is the John and Helen Kellogg Professor of Nursing at Rush University. Dr. Rupar is an internationally recognized expert on medication adherence. His program of research focuses on factors that influence how patients take cardiovascular medications and on developing effective interventions where patients and providers can work together to address medication non-adherence and improve patients' health outcomes. In addition to his role at Rush, Dr. Rupar is also the current president of the International Society for Medication Adherence and is editor-in-chief of the Western Journal of Nursing Research. And what he didn't say in his bio is that Dr. Rupar is like an office mate of sorts. And my office is right next to his, and he's a wonderful contribution to the College of Nursing and a dear friend. Dr. Rupar, please address the group.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Good afternoon, everybody here and at home. Thank you for the opportunity and the honor of talking with you today. I have notes because, as my students know, if I don't have notes, I go off on tangents and that gets dangerous. So I'd like to start by offering my congratulations to you on this milestone as you start your journey into nursing. I'll admit that I was not initially sure what I'd talk about today, but there are some messages that I want to make sure you have as you head into this profession of ours. So first, if you feel overwhelmed, ask for help before you get in over your head. This is true both in nursing school as well as in your career after you graduate. So my first job as a nurse after I finished my BSN was on a hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplant unit. I loved the patients. It was important work, but I got to where I dreaded going to work every day, every shift, because I was overwhelmed. Many of the nurses on my floor had been there for years, some for decades, and they made it all look so easy. And for me, it was not. I was struggling, and I didn't know how to ask for help because it seemed like I was expected to be able to handle it all as well as everyone else. I left that hospital after 1 year because I couldn't handle it. So I would like to urge you that if you feel like you're struggling or you're not getting it, there are others like that too, and ask for help before it gets too far and too bad. And with me, even the 12-hour rotating shift schedule wore me down and I kept getting sick. So I left that job after a year, which leads me to number 2, which is that the hospital is not the end all be all of nursing. Hope people across the street don't hear me say that. So I left that first job and moved into a role as a community health nurse. I went from being in a hospital environment where I was on a hospital floor for 12 to 14 hours a day, not seeing the outside, or sometimes even having a chance to stop and pee, to a setting where the entire city of St. Louis was my workplace. I did home visits with clients from our health center, did health screenings, and worked with other community agencies on projects to improve the health of neighborhoods. And while I was there, our health center was part of a project sponsored by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Bureau of Primary Health Care, and the Institute for Healthcare Improvement, which is a think tank out of Boston. And the project was designed to improve chronic illness care in primary care settings. And we were working on improving treatment and management of depression. And it was run much like a research project, including an outcomes evaluation component. And I was tapped to be the site coordinator for our center. And it was a good fit for me. I liked this research thing and kind of got bit by the research bug. Not something I had planned or expected when I was in nursing school. And so then that leads me to number 3, which is to seek out new opportunities for growth. If you find something that interests you, figure out how you can then position yourself to make that part of your job and your career. So I left then that job after a few years to get more research experience and also to work at a university where my tuition would be covered for my master's degree. Because when you have the opportunity, there's no reason you should pay for your own grad school. My new job was as a research nurse and a study coordinator at a university-based vaccine research center. And it was the fall of 2001. So very quickly, I found myself running trials to see how far the US could dilute our limited supplies of smallpox vaccine and have it still be effective, because we were very concerned at that time about bioterrorism. And we knew that there were samples of smallpox virus in labs in places in the world that were subject to theft and corruption and whatnot. So we were testing smallpox vaccine dilution studies, as well as testing studies for nasal spray flu vaccines. We did some of the original flu studies and vaccines for hepatitis C, RSV, anthrax, and more. I learned a lot, made some very good friends, and finished my master's degree, and then moved to a different university and worked in their Alzheimer's disease research center. And I saw patients in their memory diagnostic clinic. And I really liked that. But it still also wasn't quite enough to feel fulfilled and satisfied. Because I had ideas from my prior clinical practice about the needs of people in the community who were struggling to manage their chronic conditions. And at that point, I didn't want to just work on other people's research studies. Often, the nurses did the bulk of the work on these clinical trials and research studies, and the physicians took the credit. I wanted to do my own research. So That then brings me to my next point, which is don't be afraid to be ambitious. The best thing for the world can be an ambitious nurse with good ideas. And I had the first part of that at least, and started my PhD to improve the second part. Some would say I'm still working on that. I found that interventions to improve self-management of chronic conditions were the most effective for health conditions where effective medication therapy existed, which then lead me to focus in on adherence to medications. And the fact that all these chronic disease self-management programs, the benefit from those might actually be from improving adherence to medications, because we know that about half of people who take a long-term medication don't take it as prescribed. So I started looking at how to support patients at adhering to their medication regimens as kind of the best first approach to improving chronic illness self-management. And toward the end of my PhD program, one of my committee members introduced me over email to a colleague of hers in Europe who also did work in medication adherence. And that led to a Skype call, which led to an invitation to come over to Europe to interview for a postdoctoral fellowship, which is an additional period of training after you finish a doctoral degree that focuses on a specific area of research. So I ended up moving my family and I over to Belgium and did a postdoctoral fellowship in Belgium and Switzerland, focusing on medication adherence. I was only one of 2 nurses working on a consortium project funded by the European Commission to make practice, policy, and research recommendations to the European Union on medication adherence. And we presented the final findings of our work at the European Parliament in Brussels. It was really cool. And then got recruited back to the US into a faculty position at University of Missouri for 7 years, and then got recruited to Rush, where I'm incredibly happy. So the final thing I want to say is to be open to professional opportunities, as they can lead you to interesting and life-changing places. And remember, there are different ways to be a nurse. Being a bedside nurse is a wonderful thing and a wonderful calling and a wonderful job, but it's not the only way to be a nurse. So there are a lot of ways that you can have an impactful nursing career. So when I applied to nursing school, I actually wanted to be a flight nurse. I had an Air Force ROTC scholarship, but had a knee problem from back in junior high that ended up ending that goal, because they were much more selective back in 1994 than they would be today. They wouldn't bat an eye at it now. But now I know I would have been a horrible flight nurse. Critical care is not my forte. I actually tried to leave the profession at one point. But one of the part-time nursing jobs I had in a nursing home while I was taking classes to do something else, while trying to become a high school social studies teacher, actually, helped me to find that I loved working with older adults, and it pushed me back into nursing. And so I had to bounce around a bit to some different jobs to find my niche and figure out where I fit. And so if at any point during or after the GEM program, you feel like you're not fitting in, that's okay. Find some trusted people that you can talk to who can help you figure out what type of nursing role is the right fit for you. And sometimes it won't be the first thing you try, and it won't be the fourth thing you try, but you'll find it. It takes some trial and error. And sometimes you have to step outside the box that society tries to put nurses in and create a whole new role for yourself. But ultimately, my hope for you is that you will find your area within nursing that is a job that you love to go to every day, and that you would do regardless of how much they paid you, but they'll never pay you enough because nurses are traditionally underpaid. But just be patient with yourself, ask for help, explore new things, don't be afraid to be ambitious, and congratulations again, and welcome to the profession.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhar, for sharing your experiences. I hope from that you begin to get an idea of the breadth of opportunities that awaits you in this profession. Now, before we officially welcome you to the profession, I would like to make a few comments about professionalism and integrity in the field of nursing. So recent Gallup polls consistently rate nursing the most honest and ethical profession in America. Have you seen that? It's a thing. Nurses have topped the list every year, but once since the Gallup poll first asked them in 1999. From your first clinical day as a student, you will represent the profession of nursing. Each time you engage a patient or family member, you will be seen as a nurse. Even though you are still very early in your nursing education, the patient will identify you with nursing. It is important that you remember this and that you display the behaviors of professionalism, such as knowledge, respect, and interdisciplinary teamwork. You have a knowledge base that supports the care you deliver to your patients. Your demeanor of respect for all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, religious differences, and others are important. You are actively engaged in interdisciplinary conversations about your patient, and you confidently present the knowledge you have about your patients. You know, you understand, and you will ground your practice in nursing code of ethics. With this, it is our pleasure to welcome you into the profession by giving you a pin that shows you are now part of the Rush nursing family, and you want to remember this day and your responsibilities as a Rush nursing student from this day forward. Our pinners today have been specifically selected to welcome you into the profession. And as I call your name, can you please come down to take your place as a pinner? We have, okay, he's way up there, so. Dr. Amber Kuya. Professor Kate Schaefer. Dr. Fred Brown. Dr. Judy Fry. And I will ask Nia to provide instructions on how each role. Yes.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go row by row, and then I'm gonna have you all stand up this way, up that way, face to your family. Yes, sound good?
All right, cool. First row.
Am I really?
And very different last name. It is
Wait, I actually might, my name might pop up. I know, it's really good.
Up on the top. Oh. Oh, yeah. You got like
Yeah, I caught mine too.
change the view so the people online, we can see them. How do we change the view? Oh, here we are. Okay.
Okay, so the people, the cohort 31 received your pin in person. And then cohort 31, I think we have like 37 members of cohort 31 joining with us live streaming. Why don't you wave? Here's your pin. Hey, cohort 31, thank you for joining us via live stream. And now that you've received your pin, I do want to invite Brianna Tate to come to the front to lead us in a recitation of the dedication to the profession oath that's on the back of your program. Brianna? May I ask for cohort 31 at home and in person joining us, and those joining us live stream, can you please stand if you are able for the recitation of the oath?
Hello, beautiful people. I'm so happy to see y'all faces. Alrighty. In the presence of my faculty and fellow students, and with full knowledge of the obligations I undertake this day, I solemnly pledge myself to the rigorous study of the art and science of nursing. I promise to conduct my academic and professional life with integrity and honor. I will provide the very best care to all who are committed to my charge, and I will uphold the dignity and wealth of each individual with whom I come into contact. Now you guys can repeat after me. I will continually seek out knowledge and improve myself throughout my career as a professional nurse, and I will listen to and learn from those with greater wisdom and experience. Thank y'all.
That was the most lively and engaged recitation of the oath that I've heard. Very nice. Cohort 31, you may be seated. I have a few short closing remarks. So before we conclude, please let me remind you of the Rush Eye Care values. They are a good way to sum up what has been said here today. So innovation, be innovators in care, collaboration, collaborate with the healthcare team to provide patient-centered care and improve the health and safety of our patients. Accountability. Always be accountable for your actions and for furthering your knowledge. Lifelong learning is very important to the profession of nursing. Respect. Show respect for everyone at all times. Excellence. Always strive for excellence, not only in your education, but also in your practice. These are our expectations of ourselves as nurses at Rush, and now they are our expectations of you as nursing students. Welcome to this incredible journey of nursing, and welcome to the profession. With that, this concludes our white coat ceremony. I will ask that the students please stay on via live stream and here for our scheduled cohort meeting. And thank you to all of the family and friends and guests that joined us via live stream. Wave goodbye. Thank you for joining. You want to give them a round of applause for supporting you? Yeah.